All right, you guys ready to knock into this thing?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Jameson on the Rocks podcast. Today I have with me 3 members, the whole band of A.D Blanco. How you guys doing?
Great.
Doing well.
Stoked to have you guys in here. Let's go around the table. You guys tell me your names and age and occupation in the band.
All right, I'm Aaron White. I'm 19, and I'm the drummer in the band.
On the sticks, on the skins.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm Owen Lang. I'm 18 and I'm the bass player.
Word.
I'm Bennett Evans. I play guitar and I sing in the band. I'm 19.
Dang, you guys are young, man. You guys are on it early. Aren't you guys a camped amp band or Newsy Space band or something like that?
Not originally.
Yeah.
Me and Bennett went to Camp Amps for several years, but the band didn't really form there.
Gotcha. Okay, so maybe I heard that wrong, but awesome. So how long you guys been playing together, you 3?
2 years, 2.5.
Yeah, about 2.5. I joined like the summer of 2019. So
Word,
it's been
man.
about 2.5 years.
How long has the name A.D Blanco been around? Where'd that come from is what I'm kind of curious about.
So
Yeah.
we had they used to do this high school battle of the bands in Athens every year. And we had just kind of switched members. We changed, a bass player had gone to like a different band. So we had absorbed another bass player and we were like, okay, we need a new identity for this new show. And we want to show everybody that we're a different band. So we were like, we don't have a name and we need a name. We go looking and I'm on Snapchat and Aaron's private story name is A.D Blanco.
Why?
And
It was like a nickname in my Spanish class. 'Cause
Really?
Aaron Davis White, A.D Blanco.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
so I like take that name and I just send it to the people.
Without passing it
Yeah.
by.
No one knew.
Yeah.
And it just goes on the poster. And he's like, are you
Damn
serious?
you.
And, yeah. And it's just been that ever since.
What do you think about it?
I mean, first thought is like, all right, people are going to think I named the band after myself. That's great.
Can't imagine.
Yeah, narcissistic A.D Blanco.
But you grew to love it, I guess. It kind of stuck,
No.
hasn't it?
Not really. I asked them to change it like
Yeah.
countless times, but here we are. It's a little bit late now.
I think it's way too
So,
late, bro. I
yeah.
know you don't change it now. I like it. It's got a nice ring to it.
Yeah, that's what people say. So
At least
we'll-
now I
we'll
know what
rock
it
with
means. I saw somebody wearing an A.D Blanco shirt in the gym the other day.
Awesome.
Fun fact.
That's good to hear.
Should have shot you guys a picture, get a little
Yeah.
press out there.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome, man. So how'd you guys start, how'd you meet kind of, give me the origin story of you guys coming together, other members, that kind of stuff. What got you guys here, if you know what I mean?
Well, Bennett and I met up originally 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
It's a good while.
Yeah, we've been playing together for a while. We went through different members and stuff, and it wasn't always A.D Blanco.
Mm-hmm.
But we've been jamming together for a long time. And then originally, lineup was different, but then we went through a couple different bassists where, things happened. They had to pass through, whether it was college or whatever.
Totally.
But yeah, and then we kind of met Owen. Owen, we met at a party, right?
Yeah. Carter
Yeah.
Nichols' house.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, yeah?
So I think, Owen, you were playing guitar at the time.
Yeah, I was primarily a guitar player, but I've been playing bass enough so that when you asked me, I was like, I might as well give it a shot.
Yeah, we
You know?
really needed someone to play, and Owen and I were vibing, of course, or getting along real well, and we just decided we would jam sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems like pretty much every bass player comes to be exactly like that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I mean, I think it really worked out well because I thought really guitar was my primary instrument for a while, but then after just a few months of playing bass with the group, I learned a lot about the instrument, and now I way heavily identify with that instrument more than guitar, and I sort of grew into it, I think.
That's
So,
great, man.
Worked out well.
Found your calling without,
Yeah.
just let it happen to you. That's
Yeah.
great, man.
Yeah.
You're a total bass player.
Yeah.
Total
Yeah.
bass player.
Yeah.
Digging the grooves, man. Sweet. Well, that's a pretty good origin story. I like it. And then you guys just was there some sort of census oh, we should be playing shows, or oh, we should be on the road, or we just want to play for our friends? What's the motive? You know what I mean?
I think we'd always kind of played around Athens, and I think just until recently, maybe in the past year, became a real we're playing shows because this is what we want to do is a job, and we really love it. So before that, it was kind of playing to our friends and family at venues that we could get into, and now it's kind of come into this place where we're thinking about going on the road in March. We're gonna
Sick,
hit
man.
Birmingham, Nashville, Louisville, and Chicago on a good run.
Beautiful.
But just kind of touring around and trying to make a job out of it as much as we can, because it's just it's so much fun, and
Yeah.
why not make a job out of it? If
Hell
you
yeah,
can?
man. It's the
Yeah.
most noble thing you could do, right?
Exactly.
Anyways, that's awesome, dude. Well, kind of like when you were playing these shows at the start, you said you've been playing in Athens forever. Where are you guys playing at the start of making the band? You know what I mean? Any place in particular?
Hendershots.
Hendershots
especially.
we played a lot.
Like the open mic nights or like full sets?
So we were in like
Yeah.
the Full Moon, like that kind of group.
Word,
and
word.
That's kind of how the original lineup came, and it was
Uh-huh.
people in a bunch of different bands now. Actually, it was like people who are in like Cadillac now,
Oh, word.
are in Fishbug.
Okay.
So it was like a kind of a mishmash of different bands that kind of came to be now. But originally we were playing like Hendershots, and we had done a Foundry show, and those are kind of where we lied for a little bit, and then we kind of started to split into like the 40-watt.
Caledonia.
Caledonia was a big one for us.
Oh, yeah. Rest in peace.
Rest
Yeah.
in peace.
What do you mean you lied a little bit? You're exaggerating the track record or something? I
No,
love
we
it.
we just kind of stayed in there for a while. Like in
Oh,
that
I thought
pocket.
you meant that you lied to get the gig. I was
No.
like, hell yeah, dude, been there, done that. So you kind of hitting the whole like rounds, like the breakthrough, easy kind of gigs rounds.
Yeah,
Well, how many shows did you guys play at the Donia, you think? Any particular number?
we had played like
5 or 6.
five
Yeah.
or six shows, and it was kind of like just as we were starting to really get our foot in the door, we were getting asked to play like some, like cover shows. We're not like a cover band, but we were like, it'd be cool to cover our favorite bands for just a night and see how that goes.
And
And
it was the early stages of the band too.
yeah.
So are you guys strictly original at this point, or do you guys do 3-hour cover gigs for money per se from time to time?
Pretty strictly original.
Love to hear that.
Every once in a while we'll throw in some covers if it's a show where we think, we could get the crowd more into it if we ease into it with some
Yeah.
songs that they already like,
Word. Awesome.
But our experience has been once we do that, like people really come around to the originals. They
Yeah,
usually
helps.
really like them.
Yeah, like we accepted a gig at Georgia College for a sorority event,
Word.
and the original arrangement was that we were gonna just mostly do a cover set, but we were able to work out a compromise where it was basically half originals, half covers, and
That's
then
awesome.
all of them dug it. So
Yeah?
the covers definitely helped. They helped people get into it, obviously, but our originals also were able to hold up as well.
That's awesome, man.
So yeah, that's kind of how we do some shows like that.
Love to hear that, man. That sounds like a good compromise to me. You know what I mean? And you said Georgia College, Milledgeville, right?
Yep,
I love Milledgeville. You guys play in Milledgeville a good bit, don't you?
we played a couple
A handful
times.
of
Yeah, we played a few
yeah.
times.
Yeah.
Buffington's, is that right?
Yeah.
How do you like
we played there
Buffington's?
once.
It's pretty fun.
I liked it.
Yeah, we played there once. What was the name of the Peachy Grooves? I think.
I've heard of that.
It's like
the
the
festival.
Yeah, little
yeah.
festival in September. It was super fun. We played a lot of cool bands. Yeah, that was our one time playing like a more formal, venue gig in Milledgeville, and we really enjoyed it.
Gotcha, man. Yeah, not many venues down there to pick from, but it's a cool town. Like I feel like it kind of reminds me of like Clemson or Statesboro. Like it should have a better music scene, but it doesn't. Like it's almost there,
Yeah.
No disrespect. It's just
That
good
makes
town.
sense.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So it was cool to see you guys going down there and play and shit and getting into the sororities a way to do it.
We had some fun down there. It was
Yeah.
a good time.
Yeah.
It was also a little bit of an experience.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I won't make you talk about it, but
It was the first kind of like tour experience where it was like just we got into a town and we just had no idea. Like after the show, we couldn't go home, so we were just like stuck in the city. And we just
What do you
kinda
mean
did
you're
whatever.
stuck? You guys stayed in a hotel or something?
No, we didn't have a place to stay, so we just kind of like walked
found
around for a
ourselves
while.
there at like
Yeah.
2 a.m.
Yeah, nowhere to go.
Just walking around looking for a floor to sleep on?
Pretty much.
You have any luck?
Not so much.
Yeah.
We did.
I ended up staying there.
Yeah,
We hitched a ride back. Me
Yeah,
and Owen
I think
drove
it
a
was
couple
about-
hours.
yeah. At about like 2:30 or 3 a.m., we
Uh-huh.
decided to take like the hour trip back to Watkinsville, where I spent the night, and then Bennett went and like drove the other half hour to his dorm room. So
Yeah, y'all are grinding. Love
Yeah.
to hear it, dude.
Yeah.
You guys ever thought about having a go at the what's the big bar down there? Ned Kelly's. You know what I'm talking about?
Ned Kelly's.
I've heard that bar.
They used to call it
Yeah.
Capital City, then they close it down and rename it every couple years.
Okay, we went to a bar called Capital.
That was it. Yeah,
Okay,
the
yeah.
huge
Okay,
one,
yeah.
just
Yeah,
massive.
It was
They do bands
yeah,
there,
Bennett-
man.
Bennett had a
Interesting.
fun time there.
Yeah. Did you?
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Oh, love to hear it, man. And you guys, how are you? Are you guys ever had any trouble with like playing in bars and stuff, not being 21? Any venues kind of fucked with you guys on that, or not really?
we haven't had too much trouble, but
Uh-huh.
it can propose some issues sometimes. Like, although most of the time, I feel like whenever we've done that, we worked out an arrangement with whoever is booking us that, you know, we're like wear X's on our hands or something
Totally.
like that. And obviously we won't cause any trouble. We're not like going to go order a drink or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are some venues that just don't do it out of principle as like a liability thing.
Totally.
But for the most part, that hasn't been too much of an obstacle for us.
Oh, love to hear it, man. I kind of wondered about that, like when you weren't of age, like if it was an issue, like, oh, you guys can't fucking play here, like showing up to play
Yeah.
shit and they won't let you. You know what I mean?
It was definitely an issue back in the day when we played the Cal Daniel originally, because
Yeah.
it was like 18
Yeah.
plus, and we were
Oh.
like 16.
Damn,
17.
bro,
Yeah.
y'all were playing that early? 16?
Yep.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
were playing when we were
Man.
16, and they would just kind of be like, because you'd go outside and then you try and go back in, and then they'd be like, yeah, you can't come in. We try to explain that we're in the band, and they're like, yeah, it's all right. So,
Dude,
my friends,
I have a
you
guitar
know.
in my hand.
It's hard to draw a crowd when your friends can't come either. You
Yeah,
know?
I
Yeah,
bet that
so-
was tough, man.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And you guys are playing originals that early? Has it
Yeah.
always been? Or like when you're 16, you covering it up? You know what I mean?
I think it was originals, but mostly covers at that point.
we had I think we had a bunch of originals that we just didn't like record. We had
Gotcha.
them, but we
Yeah.
were just kind of like, these are ones for the side. And we're just gonna
Unreleased
sit here
kinda
now.
thing?
Yeah.
Interesting, man. That's crazy that you guys were playing at 16, dude. That's just wild. Like fucking absurd. That didn't seem weird to you guys?
I mean, that's just growing up around Athens and having
Yeah.
Nucci space to our disposal, you
Uh-huh.
know, camp amps.
Are you
gotta
guys all
really-
from the area or you moved here for school? You make it sound like you guys are all kind of from here, right?
Well, Owen and I are from Watkinsville.
Yeah.
So pretty close and spent a lot of time here.
Mhm.
And Bennett's from Madison.
Yeah.
Madison.
I'm like
okay.
30 minutes away. So
Oh,
it's a
word.
drive, but we
Still
kind of
not bad.
made it work. Yeah.
Interesting. So, like, growing up in the Athens area, was it always like, I hate to say easy to find musicians, but was it like a big struggle to be like, oh, I need a guitar, bass player, and a singer, kind of, sort of? You know what I mean?
I mean, I don't know. We kind of just ended up playing together. It didn't seem
Uh-huh.
like it was that hard, but I guess there was times where I worried about not finding like the right matchup.
Mhm.
You know?
Interesting. Yeah, because I came from a town like just in the country, you know, and like we just didn't have it. Like I knew
Right.
everybody in my
Yeah.
school, and I was like, yeah, nobody else plays. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like, I always kind of wished I'd grown up in Athens and been able to be playing since I was 16, like you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where are you from?
Gibson, Georgia.
Gibson,
It's
okay.
near Augusta, if you know where
Yeah,
Augusta
yeah,
is,
okay.
but like
gotcha.
an hour from Augusta. So like 55 people in my
Wow.
graduating class.
Damn.
You know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
So, yeah,
That's
no
cool, though.
musicians. But it was interesting. That's why it was so great to come to Athens. It was like, fuck, man, it's not too hard to start a band here. You know what I mean? Definitely doable. And as I see you guys playing at 16, that's fucking cool, man. I'm jealous, bro. I was just dicking off at 16, bro. I was wishing I was playing, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, anyways, moving along. Let's see. So, you guys are playing everywhere. You're kind of getting your ropes. Like, what kind of band were you trying to be? Is there always been like a genre goal, like indie or like rock? You know what I mean? Or has it been like just grown as you guys have gone?
I think I guess if we were putting labels on things, we've kind of changed in like we were like more of like a blues rock band.
Oh, really?
Originally with our like singles that we released like a few years
Yeah.
ago,
Mm-hmm.
and we've kind of started exploring more music, and I think over time we've just kind of like become more like immersed in alternative and indie
Yeah.
music. I don't know. I mean, bands like The Strokes. I think once we kind of figured out what The Strokes were, we were like, The Strokes are really cool.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
Caged Elephant.
Yeah, Caged
Elephant.
That's
Elephant.
dude. I was gonna say
Yeah.
that. I didn't know if you guys would like that, and I was gonna be like, "Yo, you guys kind of remind me of Cage the Elephant on some songs," but like I didn't know.
Love that band.
I'll
Well,
take
yeah,
that for
that's
sure.
heavy praise. We'll take that.
Love to hear
Yeah.
that, man. I heard a little, maybe a little Radiohead too. No,
He's
That's
a,
this guy.
I'm a huge
I heard a little
Radiohead
bit.
guy.
I mean, I didn't want to say.
That's-
You
I-
never know.
I'm glad you said that. That's
Yeah.
the second time I've heard that in like a few months, and both times it's made me extremely happy.
Love to hear that,
because I
man.
like Radiohead, and it's interesting to hear that because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like our music doesn't reflect their style like super blatantly or anything, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm very heavily influenced by them and Colin Greenwood's bass playing and stuff. So it's cool
Yeah.
to hear that.
Totally, dude. It felt like just like a smidge of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just a little bit. Like I don't know if they'll agree with this, but this is what I heard. It was Cage the Elephant and Radiohead a little bit, but
Yeah.
it's a very like indie alternative, is what I would have said. Is that kind of what you guys tell people when they
Yeah.
ask?
yeah, if we had to like whittle it down, I think that's kind of what we
Yeah.
tell like venues and stuff or other bands.
Love it, man. So Strokes really big for you. Excuse me, Radiohead. Anybody for
Cage
you in
the
particular?
Elephant.
Cage the
Yeah,
Elephant.
If I had to choose one.
Love that, man. Fucking God, I love all those Cage records, dude. The early ones, bro, money. Even the later ones are fun too. But like,
Yeah.
Thank You, Happy
Yeah.
Birthday and shit.
Yeah.
Money.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Interesting. So you guys, you kind of taking all those and blending them together. Any like outside influences that you guys are like throwing in there, like off the wall bands or anything? Like anything in particular?
I mean, we all listen to a pretty big range of music,
Mhm.
and it's all different. So,
Uh-huh.
like, you know, I'll dabble in listening to some like reggae, even some like
Uh-huh.
soul music. I mean, R&B.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I think I don't know. We just take like, I think since we listen to so many different genres, we kind of take what we like from each genre and like sort of think about how we can fit it into our music.
Totally.
Like I know Aaron does that a lot cuz he does listen to like a lot of reggae and rap and R&B and stuff, and when you're working with him as a musician, you kind of get that sense. Like he was like I remember at one point when we were talking our most recent recording projects, you're like, it would be cool if the bass had like an 808 sound for this. And I wouldn't have thought of that at first, but the more we thought about it, but like the more I thought about it, it was like a really cool idea. So just little things like that.
Did you guys pull it off? I'm curious about the 808 thing.
we're still working on it. We haven't mixed yet.
A mixing thing. We're gonna mix
Okay.
with Vandenberg.
Oh,
I
sweet.
think later this month.
Mr. Drew, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting, dude. Yeah, see, I've toyed with the 808 thing too, but every time I tried to do it, it was just like kind of like the same frequency range as the bass player. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it was just like blended together poorly. But I'm interested in it.
Well, I think he was saying that the bass itself would get like an 808 tone.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So we'll just
Interesting.
I don't even remember what you said that about, but
I don't either, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
But yeah, I just think it's all about making like a modern listening experience, even if our music isn't necessarily like modern, if it's a throwback in some ways. I think that when the listener hears it, it should feel, it shouldn't feel old necessarily.
Gotcha. So you're not trying to replicate anything from the past,
No,
kind of.
no.
You're just doing it and expecting it. Because you guys sound like a band, like on the recordings to me. That's what I like. Yeah, I assume you guys track everything pretty much live, kind of, right?
It
Yeah, we'll
depends.
do a live drum take and we'll try and get the bass take in there, but the
Build
guitar
around
takes are mostly kind of like just overdubbed.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds really real, is what I actually wrote this. I was like, the album sounds really real, like 3-4 people
you.
fucking playing, not like a ton of overdubs or anything, which is cool.
Yep.
Yeah, thank
Huh?
you.
Yeah.
Is that purposeful, or is that just like, oh, this is how we sound like? Let's just make sure we sound like we sound live.
I think the first album definitely was reminiscent of that, but I don't know. I think moving forward, it's going to sound a little bit different.
Oh, yeah?
But I think it'll be a good change.
What are you thinking in the difference? Like a little more produced, a little less produced? Anything in particular?
I don't know. Maybe a little more high fidelity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're trying to get like the really like studio kind of like the way pop music kind of has like everything is so clear in your headphones. You're just kind of like you can pick out every instrument.
Totally.
And we want to get that, but we want to keep the same sound we kind of have like a rock
Exactly.
band who sounds like that live, but it's just in your headphones and it's mixed kind of just perfectly.
Absolutely, yeah. I think it becomes tougher to do playing it live together, to get that shine, sort of. So that's interesting. You guys have any? Well, you said you've already started working on the second album, correct?
A bit. I mean, we were wrapping up a song yesterday that I assume will
Yeah.
probably be on there, but
Yeah.
it's early stages for a second album.
Yeah, we have the EP that we're
Yeah.
probably going to release in the spring, probably March.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's definitely the more pressing thing right now. We just finished a 6-day recording session at Gift Horse with Rowan O'Reilly.
Awesome.
As our producer and engineer. We recorded 4 songs that we're super happy with. Waiting to get mixing and mastering done on that. But that's just a way to just release more music, kind of keep our momentum of release going a little bit for the second album. So yeah, that's really the kind of next big thing coming from us, I think.
I think that's very smart. You guys seem to be really on it, because the album was fucking 12 songs, bro. That's a lot of songs. That's a pretty big album, honestly. What's the usual 10, 9? So
Yeah, I mean something like that. Yeah.
I mean 12 songs. What was it? 3 singles before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That ended up being on there. I mean, that's a ton of music for just a local band grinding. Already got an EP and an album. Is that purposeful? Like, all right, we're gonna put out a shit ton of music.
Well, we want to play a shit ton of shows, so we have to have something to back it up,
Yeah.
People get sick of hearing the same thing over and over again, no matter how good it is.
Yeah,
and
totally.
that's totally understandable.
Yeah.
So we want to keep giving them things to listen to, and we love to work.
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's awesome, dude. You'd love to hear that you love to work. That's fucking just off to the right start. And is it another thing, like you said, you're not playing many covers, so you can't just go learn a bunch of covers for the set. You got to keep putting new originals out, right?
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, it
That's the
comes
goal.
to the point sometimes where we're like, all right, we got a show next week. Let's write a song so we have another thing to put in the set. So I think that's how a lot of stuff recently has kind of happened.
Yeah, we've had some demos that have titled new 40-watt song or new dance marathon song or something
Really?
like that. Yeah, just because we know we have a bigger show coming up. Even if we don't say it explicitly, we're kind of writing with that in mind. So yeah, that's kind of a way that we try to get new content out for bigger shows in town.
That's a crazy pace, dude. Just writing for every show. That's hype, man.
Well, I mean, you can't do it for every show, but
Every other.
Yeah.
yeah. When we happen to have like 2 or 3 weeks ahead of time, that's when we kind of like get into a good working groove, and that's when we can kind of do that.
Totally. And what is this songwriting process like on that? It's like, are you bringing in lyrics in the guitar, or are you bringing in something? Are you bringing in drum beat? Like, hey, let's write around this. How does it go? Does it vary?
Yeah, it varies a lot. I
varies.
think we just kind of, at a point, just kind of all sit in a room together, and we're like, we have nothing in front of us, and one of us will come up with like a chord or a cool idea, and then we'll just jam on it. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We move on. But we record all our practices, so if we do really like something, we'll have it kind of sitting there in the background for us later
Awesome.
on.
How do you record your practices?
We use a Pro Tool session in our recording space, and we just kind of have everything mic'd up.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you guys have your own space or something?
Yeah, we do. It's at the basement at my house, but
Sick.
yeah, it's great. It's really
wicked.
It's a
Yeah.
sweet spot.
Yeah, we're really fortunate to be able to use that, because we can basically we can mic up like pretty much all our instruments. Like we have bass mic, kick, snare, overhead, 2 guitar mics, and that's pretty much all we need. And then at the end of the day, we can just export specific things that we like out of what we practice, then listen to that and like sort of think about it without playing it, and then come back to practice the next day with that in
Interesting.
mind. Sort of that's kind of what helps us a lot with
You guys
It's a
are
game changer.
a pretty efficient unit, man. Listen to all this shit you're talking about. You guys got it honed down, man.
yeah. Well,
And nobody's ever bringing in like full songs. Like, hey, here's this one.
oh, we do.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little more rare, I'd say.
Yeah?
It is more rare.
It's rare, and it's sometimes hard to work with, because it's like when someone hears an idea, it's like they have their own idea in mind for a song, but then
Totally.
the writer of that song is like, I want it to sound like this, and it's kind of like working as a songwriting unit rather than just one person kind of changes the momentum of the song, I think.
That's what makes a band, right?
Yeah.
I love that, dude. So it's a purposeful, hey, we're going to write as a trio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. There have been instances where someone just comes in with like a really outstanding idea, and then we just completely work around that, and are if they are taking like creative lead on it, that we can just completely do what they want to do. But most of the time, I think a lot of it is that we take more personal satisfaction, and it gets more of a personal touch if all of us have contributed something very specific to the song.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I could see that. Makes it more fun to play every night, right?
yep.
Hell yeah.
I think so. Interesting. How have you guys liked, speaking of being a trio, how have you guys liked going from a 4-piece? Were you guys a 5-piece at one point, or is that wrong?
We I think
Like
were a
way
5-piece,
back.
Not as
like,
A.D
a
Blanco,
really long
but
time ago.
when Bennet and I started playing music together, we were 5-piece. Yeah.
What's the transition been like from like 5-piece, 4-piece to now 3-piece? A little tougher. You stopped playing guitar, all that high frequency's gone, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like all this. The guitar has kind of like become like Joe Walsh said, like lead and rhythm at the same time when he was in a James Gang.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I'm trying to figure out how to play solos while still keeping down a rhythm, which has become harder to do, but I think it's made me better as a player.
Yeah.
To kind of have like those chimey background notes, but still kind of playing lead up there.
You're
I
pretty
think
good
it's-
at it.
Thanks.
I'd
Yeah,
say.
I think it's
hard.
kind of helping to find a new kind of sound for us.
Yeah, you don't see too many 3-pieces, man. I love 3-pieces. I love to hear it.
Thank you.
How have you guys liked, like from your end, like you guys, there's really not much going on, but you guys in your kind of range, is it easier? Any thoughts on it?
I think
Yeah. Well, you go first.
I was just about to say, when we switched to 3-piece, I had a lot of concerns at first. Like dynamically, I was worried that we were going to be missing something in terms of sound, but it forced us to just be more aware of what we're playing and to really write parts like with more intention, because you can't. There's less, for us, there's less guitar to hide behind.
Absolutely.
So you really have to make sure every part that you write is really up to scratch. So I think we've adjusted pretty well, though.
Yeah.
I think
That's a great way to put it.
Really
Yeah.
great, yeah. Mad respect for the 3-piece, because when somebody fucks up in the 3-piece, you hear it.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love that, man. You guys have any favorite 3-piece bands? Famous?
Oh, I've always loved the Police.
Me too,
Stuart
man.
Copeland's probably my favorite drummer.
Dude, you would
Yeah.
get along with my drummer then. That's his favorite.
Sweet.
How about you guys?
I like Nirvana.
Me too.
Yeah.
A lot of kind of what I think about when I hear like a 3-piece, or like I kind of think of the way we are as like a 4-piece band with a singer is kind of just a 3-piece, because the music is just 3 people. So it's like just combining 2 of those factors, because bands I really like U2 and like
Oh, yeah.
bands like that, they're just 3 people, but they pull off a giant sound.
Absolutely.
And it's just kind of like putting the singing part on a guitar player, on a bass player. It's just kind of,
Yeah.
that's kind of how I like to think about it.
That's a really good way to put it. It actually a recent revelation for me as well. I was like, do we really need a second guitar? You know what I mean? Like U2 and fucking Van Halen and all these bands I love. That's just one guitar, but somehow they would sound massive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So interesting. I love three piece. I think three pieces are very fun to watch. You know, because it's just kind of easier to focus and, like you say, a lot less to hide behind for everybody.
Yeah.
So that's cool. What was I gonna say about that? Excuse me. When you guys are overdubbing for an album, though, is that something you keep in mind? Like, maybe we shouldn't do 3 or 4 overdubs here. You know what I mean? Like, we're not gonna be able to do it, or does it not matter to you?
I think it's kind of come to a point where we're just kind of, we'll track a guitar and then we'll double it, but it's like we're not trying to add any more parts. We're just trying to thicken up that one part and give it a little bit more support. Because live, I play with 2 amps. I play through a Marshall and a Vox.
Really?
So I get these 2 different sounds coming out.
Awesome.
And I think on the record, we were just trying to get like a beefier sound on the guitar parts when we did double them. But for the most part, they're just kind of like a single guitar unless there's a lead over it.
Yeah.
Totally.
We try to take a minimalist approach most of the time with the recording. It's hard to do too because there's so many things that come to mind. You want to add this and that, but at the end of the day, it usually ends up sounding better if you try to, cut out as much as you can, just keep the essentials.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And the record sounds like it, man. It really sounds like full, but like just like you guys playing. You know what I mean? Like not a bunch of like, I hate to say bullshit, but like it sounds like you guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think a lot of the album came together like kind of quickly. It was really primarily written coming back from like the initial heavy quarantine period in 2020.
Gotcha.
And because it was written so quickly, we were all like super into like this zone and like this creative flow, and it was almost like, I don't know, we thought about overdubs and we experimented with them, but it felt like the songs were already complete without them for the most part. So yeah, I think that also had a lot to do with it for the first album.
That's great, man. And people know what to expect when they come see you, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a win, man. Tell me, where did you guys record the first album? It wasn't at Gift Horse, was it?
With Chase Park.
Chase Park. With who producing?
I think we just had Ben Hackett at the realm of the whole thing.
Yeah.
He kind of let us what to do.
How was that experience? How did you guys like Chase Park?
It was
Beautiful
great.
studio.
It was great.
Chase Park it's one of those studios where you kind of like feel your pockets when you're in there. Like you can definitely feel like time is money, and that everything you do has to be really important, or else you're just kind of burning money at that point.
Totally.
Yeah.
But we also got some really cool stuff with Ben that, like the song Clay's Pond, it was totally different. It was like an acoustic guitar based song, and it turned into just kind of like this piano based, really cool.
Yeah, he put his mark on that song for sure.
Yeah.
I'd say the rest of it, we kind of came in prepared, like exactly how we wanted it. We knew how we wanted it, but that song definitely was an outlier. In that
Interesting.
sense.
And that was a single, correct? Clay's Pond. I always kind of wondered what
Yes.
what necessarily the Clay's Pond reference was. You know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of introspective, like song, right?
Well, actually, I could tell you, but I'm curious as to what like your speculation is to that.
I didn't really have one. It's just like just the title of it was enough for me to be like, man, what the fuck are they talking about? Guys? You know what I mean?
Should we even say anything, or just leave it up to
Ooh,
speculation?
trying to leave it out there.
I tell you, it's not that deep. I promise.
Yeah?
You. Yeah.
You can tell
Not
me
that
after
deep,
that.
bro.
Yeah, it's not that deep.
I love it though. Let people interpret it.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like
cool.
that. Cool, man. That's a good answer.
Yeah.
I'm always asking people on here like, do you guys like to tell people what your song's about, or do you like to just let them guess? Because sometimes you think you know what it's about, and then you tell them, it's like, well, fuck, that kind of ruined it for me. You know, definitely wasn't about that.
Yeah.
So interesting. Anyway, tell me about the like you guys did 12 songs. How long did it take you guys in Chase Park?
Ooh, I don't
I
remember.
think like weeks, like
Yeah,
maybe
that's
like
wild,
2
yeah.
weeks
Yeah.
in total, like plus like mixing and stuff, and then mastering. We were just kind of gone for that. We just gave it to
Was it
Barbie.
spread out, kind of?
Yes.
Okay, not
Yeah.
2 weeks straight, 'cause that'd be awesome. Wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
I think our first sessions were in November, perhaps. Yeah, I think our first sessions were in November. We were done and by like the end of February with like the whole mixing stuff, and then David Barbie was able to master it in like March or April or something.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, and then it was out in July. So that was kind of like the general time frame, but I think like 2 weeks, 14 days is about right for time spent in the studio.
Yeah, and how much of that was like basic tracking? You know what I mean? Like actually recording it.
I'd say less than half.
Yeah.
I think we spent more time mixing than we did tracking.
So you guys came in ready, is what you're saying.
Yeah, we were just really well rehearsed because it it was kind of like the summer and fall of 2020, so we didn't have a bunch to do.
Yeah,
Like coming
nothing
into
to do.
coming into recording. So we were able to just rehearse like crazy, and that led us to being able to track pretty quickly.
Awesome, man. And what is the process for you guys going on? Like, hey, let's write 12 songs, or like they accumulated? Like, that's a fuck ton of songs.
We kind of decided that beforehand. So like we wanted to make like a pretty lengthy album, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it kind of fell together, I guess.
Yeah, we were kind of intentional that we didn't want an EP for our first release.
Okay.
Because it's I don't know. I'm trying to think of how best to phrase this, but basically it's just having like we thought that having our first major release have a lot of music would be beneficial and sort of help kind of cement our reputation as like, a semi-professional band.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why we did that.
We just wanted to be taken seriously, I guess.
Yeah.
Just put it blunt.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah.
So it was a purposeful. You don't see many bands come out of the gate with an album. It's impressive, you know what I mean? Like most of you got to kind of work your way up to get your sound right. Kind of sounds like you guys already got it a bit.
Well, we definitely spent our time working on
You
it.
put your hours in.
Yeah. It was a long time coming.
Yeah, we had 2 singles, but I don't think that's the same band. Really?
Really? It's
Yeah,
really
I
not.
think
Interesting.
we definitely just changed a lot.
Yeah. Which happens.
Yeah, it was Hypnotize and the one where the 2 singles we recorded, and they're just so vastly different from. They're more like KG. They're like classic KG Elephant,
Or like the Black Keys, really
is
Black
the
Keys.
major one. Those are the 2, and then we kind of moved into this different world for the album.
Interesting, man. That's
Yeah.
crazy. That's kind of the way to do it, though, right? It's like through doing them, like writing them, you kind of like move without trying to, I guess. You know what I mean? Like unpurposefully kind of find your place by just doing it.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that, kind of? Did you say that's true for you guys? Or
Definitely. I mean, I think we were experimenting a lot and just kind of became ourselves, collectively.
Totally.
If that
Yeah.
makes sense.
It does make sense, man. And what was the process like? You guys recorded at Chase Park. Chase Park's awesome. Everybody knows that. But like you're saying, it is a little costly per se. What takes you from there to Gift Horse or other places you've recorded? Nothing in particular, or?
I would say we recorded at Chase Park, and we were like, cool. So this is a professional place, and we got it, and we were like, this is the best product we can put out. We have the best studio in town, and we have the best staff working on it, the best people. And then I think when we got to Gift Horse, Rowan O'Reilly's been like a buddy of mine and Aaron's for like a really long time, and I've just always had my eye on Rowan because I know he's like just such a hard worker and he's really creative. So he brought it up to me and was like, I really want to work with you guys on some music, just kind of sitting in there and letting you guys record. And he had texted me one day and was like, hey, you want to come in and jam in the studio? And I was like, can I bring my band?
Fuck yeah.
And he was like, of course. So we come in
Sick.
and we cut a demo, and we were just like, this is one of the coolest things we've ever recorded, and we have to get back in here. So that's kind of what led us into coming into Gift Horse. We were just so impressed by the gear and
Yeah.
What sold me on it was that Rowan was just obviously super into it.
Yeah.
And I just felt like if we worked with him, like he'd be the kind of guy to really like take an interest in it and therefore like put his 110% effort into it. Not that they didn't do that at Chase Park, because they totally did.
Sure they did.
Yeah.
But we wanted a different sound for this too, and just to kind of work with some different people and
And I think also slightly different working environment, and a big part of that was that Rowan felt more comfortable sharing certain like minor criticisms with songs or ways that they could be improved, like in a very constructive way. We ended up giving him producer and engineer credit because that's what he
really?
was. Yeah. He really took a pretty active role in a lot of the composition decisions and a lot of the engineering decisions and stuff like that. So I think that helped a lot as well to get a very good musician's opinion on a lot of the stuff that we were doing.
So he was like actually producing kind of instead of like just
Yeah.
recording you. Like he
Yeah.
was giving you guys tips like, hey, maybe that shouldn't be a bridge, stuff like that kind of.
Yeah, he was like, we'd come in with our songs and he'd be like, all right, just before we start, just so you know, I do have stuff that I would change in your music. And he's like, you can take it with a grain of salt. He's like, this is how I think it should be, but you guys are the musicians. It's your song. You choose how it goes. And we'd never had anything like that really. So I think that for me, I loved that. I loved having someone in there whose opinion I really respect and is like, this is how I would do it. But if you don't want to do it this way, then don't worry about it.
That's interesting, man.
Yeah, he's a real hard worker. Like we had there's like this secret little track. If you listen to the album, you'll find it at some point, or the EP. And we were like, I was playing it on a high strung guitar, and he was like, "What is that?" And I was like, "This is just something I've been working on, and it's like a little acoustic thing." And he was like, "I'll tell you what, I'll stay tonight 2 extra hours." He was like, "Don't even worry about paying me. As a creative, I want to help you finish this song and get it on the EP." And that's kind of what we did.
Hype.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
He was definitely the person for this job, and I loved working with him.
Yeah, the energy in there was just great because we all got along super well. Like, you know, just kind of dicking around. But that's that's necessary because you got to feel really comfortable and like, again, not to compare this to Chase Party. It was just that was what I really loved about it is that we were all just in our element, and we actually took some videos from it, so you might see some of that on the Instagram.
Oh, it's coming, some content.
Yeah, some content.
That's hilarious, man. That's so priceless to like not feel like you're on the clock, right?
Yeah.
That really helps a lot. It's like, oh, we can't hash out this idea because it's going to cost us $85. You know what I mean? It's like, no, we can't do this. We better be ready. So that's interesting. And just stuff like that, like staying around to finish songs and like help you finish ideas. That's like a producer. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes you hire different things, like somebody just to press record, you know, if you've got it down or whatever. And then like that, somebody to actually be like a fourth member per se.
Yeah.
So is that what you guys are looking to do go forward usually? Or any thoughts on it?
I think it just depends on the project a lot. Like I think for this last thing, us and Rowan just happened to be in a really good place for this, like worked out for us. And obviously we're really, really happy with the finished product, but we're not sure of how we want to go forward with that. We would have to discuss whether we want someone in that same producer role for our future projects or not. But either way, we were very happy with what we did for the EP. We just just uncertain as to
it's a little early for the second album to start making those
Be
decisions.
thinking about this kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, of course we're thinking about it at the back of our heads, but right now we're just focused on writing the songs.
Interesting, man. You guys really seem to have your heads on really tight for like as young as you are. Not like, you know what I mean? Like you're pretty young guys, and it seems like you guys kind of like. Is there necessarily a leader? Because I don't see one. You guys are all looking at each other for every question. I like it. No alpha per se, or you guys all are alphas. So. 3 of them.
Yeah,
I think it's a democracy. Yeah.
Really, man? Yeah. Shit, man. This shit's gonna heat up in like 3 or 4 years, man. You guys are gonna be arguing and shit. Can't wait. Nah, I'm just kidding. Yeah. But if you guys have any thoughts on that, is that purposeful or is that just natural? Or
I think it's natural.
I think it's just the best way to do it.
I think it's harder to have someone as like who dictates everything we do, and because it's like we all want to write our own parts because I think it makes us like the song a lot more. And it's like. Someone will say something, they're like, well, maybe you should do this, and then we'll like kind of have like a vote. It's like somebody's, and it's always going to be a tie break because we have 3 people, so someone's going to be like, well, I agree with Aaron, or I agree with Bennett, or I agree with Owen. So it's like we're always going to be able to do kind of what's best for the band rather than just what's best for one person.
Yeah, but at the same time, we always try and like, if there's something that someone really doesn't like, then we're not going to like just ignore it. You know, we got to keep working until we all can agree that something is really good.
Yeah. Our first tendency is always to reach a compromise as opposed to just voting someone's idea out. So,
man, wow.
That's what I try to do.
I have a lot of bands on here. None of them talk like that, man. For real, though. Very few democracies in Athens.
I mean, we say that. Sometimes someone will just come up with an idea that the other two just aren't a fan of. But, you know,
but we still try it. You know?
Yeah. It's just the mentality we try to carry through.
So it was like last night, we kind of were working on this one part in a song, and Aaron was like, well, you should do it chromatically. And we were kind of like, well, we don't think it would work if you kind of sing over a chromatic thing in like a certain...
And we're like, that sounds like shit.
Yeah, but then, you know, it's like every idea we're like, we have to try it because who are we to say that one idea is not, you know, just as good or better than ours? So we tried it, and it happened to just be the perfect thing for the song. And just,
really?
You know, it just happens all the time like that. I just think that's a very normal thing.
You guys seem like very chill guys. You guys ever get in any heated arguments? Are you pretty chill for the most part?
I don't think we've ever gotten into a heated argument.
No, we've definitely never like considerably raised our voices at one another.
No.
I mean, obviously being in a band, you'll have moments of stress and tension.
Of course.
But you know, we always talk it out, and we never let things get personal or anything. So I'd say we have a pretty healthy relationship when it comes to that sort of thing.
That's like the best thing you can have for like longevity. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's great to hear that, man.
Yeah.
I love
we know each other pretty well. I think we can always see where the other person's coming from and kind of
adjust.
It's like any relationship. You know?
Yeah, totally, man. Love that, dude. That's great. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see. Where was I going with that? You guys, you're already putting out a ton of music. You're working on a ton of music. On the shows side, though, how many shows do you guys play in a year on average? Do you know, or guesstimate?
In a year?
Is it like a ton or?
Lot.
Last year's a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's I feel like we just go through like month by month phases where like 1 month we're not playing any shows at all. Like in January we have no shows in the books. But in February we have a bunch going on.
4.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
So I think it I don't know. I'd say as a very tentative guess, I would say 2 to 3 shows a month on average for a year.
Word.
But I think that number will probably increase this year.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm
play a lot.
asking is like, are you guys trying to be like, is that the step forward? Because you're already putting out a ton of music. You got that covered. Like, you guys trying to play a ton more now? Are you pretty happy with the pace or?
Yeah.
We're trying to play a ton more, but in a ton of different places.
Yes.
Yeah, we
Bennet
feel
can
like
speak on that.
we're almost at the peak we are in Athens that anybody who has wanted to come and see us has either tried or has already seen us. So it's like we're reaching our capacity here. So it's like, why not go to like Atlanta or Milledgeville, then kind of build a base there so we have like this, and then we're gonna try and go on that run to Chicago, and then we'll kind of expand our territory a lot.
Totally.
And we've kind of learned over time. I think I've been emailing like crazy, I think, for the past few months, and the best way to just do that is getting in contact with other artists, because you can contact a venue, but then they're like, who are you playing with from here? We're like, we don't know anybody.
How many tickets can you sell?
Yeah,
0.
we don't know. So we just kind of get like spreadsheets, and we have like venue spreadsheets, and then we have like artist spreadsheets.
Oh, that's
and we
hype,
just kind
man.
of shoot emails all the time.
Yeah, I remember like back in October or something, before we had like really realized that approaching bands was the best way to get shows in other cities. For like a week or two in October, I was just emailing venues all across the Southeast, like every day, like all the time, multiple emails a day. And I think out of probably like 30, 40 venues I emailed or texted, 2 of them got back.
Sounds about right.
Just because, like, unless you have like a bill or bands that you want to play with or like a specific date in mind, they just don't really have an incentive to reply.
Yeah, and no track record. Like, why would you? You know what I mean? Like, let's take a huge shot on this band from Athens, Georgia. You know what I mean? Why?
Yeah.
You have to get used to getting told no.
or just not getting a
happens a lot.
response. Yeah.
It's usually not a response, right?
Yeah. I think the first bands that responded to our email, I was so excited. I think it was a place in Macon, it's Columbus. It was in Columbus. They were like, "Thank you so much for your interest in playing here. Unfortunately, we closed down a few months ago, but
Tough.
yeah, but it was just funny that the only venue who responded promptly was like, "Yeah, we're closed."
That's hilarious, man. It's a ton of emails, dude. I will say 2 responses out of every 40. That sounds about right for me too, honestly. It's ridiculous amount of emails.
Yeah.
But once you kind of honed it in, I think it becomes more likely. But like you say, if you don't have a bill to build around you, like for original shows, it's just not going to work. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Interesting. So this run that you're talking about to Chicago, is that a like 3 bands each night kind of thing, or do you know what I mean?
We're just kind of contacting one band per city, and we're like, if you can build this bill, we're gonna get you a show back home, and we're gonna make sure it's a great show because you guys did this for us. We're gonna make sure we definitely do it for you. So,
Show swap.
Yeah, we're just gonna trade shows with all these bands up the coast, and not up the coast, up the middle of America. And
It's the coast, baby. The coast. The Midland.
the middle coast.
The Mississippi River coast, the banks.
And I guess if so we've kind of run into where it's like a band is like they're established in Chicago, but they're not like, we really want to go tour. They're like, we're fine here and we don't feel like going anywhere else. So it's like, they're like, yeah, we don't want to play with you guys because we don't have any interest in touring. So it's like finding those bands who are interested is kind of hard because you're trying to find the same level, and then you have to get into like, what was the word we used the other day? Where it's like, I don't know. It's kind of like you're trading off like the amount of people you have in a city.
Like mutually beneficial?
No, just kind of like you're this size in Athens, but if you were in Chicago, you could be like
inflation.
Like inflation of audience. Like, because we could be as good as this band.
Yeah.
But like they have so many more people in Chicago to come see them.
Absolutely.
That their follow is just like exploding.
Yeah, if you consider it as like a percentage of the population. Then, yeah. kind of
Interesting. And it's the tricky because like, what do they really gain from like having you on and vice versa?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like you guys could have an Athens band open for you at the 40 watt and sell, I don't know, 50 more tickets than if you have a Columbus band open for you there, even though it gets you the favor. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's a tricky
Well, I
web
think
to weave.
You have everything to gain because if you don't do that, then you just become stagnant. I think. I mean,
Yeah.
if you can play in one city and then get really popular in that city, and then what else happens? You know.
Yeah, it's just more difficult to get that break on, like, whether it's online, on streaming services, or I mean, and obviously to other places in the country since you're not playing. But yeah, I think a lot of the way I think about it in my head is that I think it's also kind of like I don't know, it's like a positive mental health thing to think about, that no matter how hard you try being in a band, it all kind of depends on luck. Like you could be the best band in the world and not make it anywhere if it, like, things just don't happen at the right time. So
Absolutely.
the way I like to think about it is that we're just putting ourselves in the best possible position to get our big break, sort of.
Love that, man.
Yeah,
That's really
that's kinda
well
the way I
put,
think
man.
about it. Yeah.
Really well put. I was reading this thing the other day. It was like in the music industry, marketing outweighs talent or something like that. I was like, damn, that's honestly true sometimes, you know what I mean? Which is unfortunate, but
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, though, and it's good that you guys are kind of looking outwards because you can't just play Athens all the time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You would just eventually just be burnt out on it and asking your people to come buy tickets every weekend, you know, no
Yeah,
new market
exactly.
kind of stuff.
That's
Yeah.
the big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what we ran into at one point, where it's
Uh-huh.
like, oh, A.D Blanco's playing, and we're like, come out to the show, and they're like, no, we'll just come out to your show next week.
Yeah,
yeah,
we're
like
not
3
gonna
days.
ever win.
Fuck yeah.
Exactly.
It's like, hey, I know you guys saw us last week, but we're back in town again. We're here.
We're
But I think
still in town.
We're playing the
haven't
same
gone
songs in a different order this time.
yes, the set list is brand new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think every band has a little bit of that because then again, you can't necessarily travel every weekend either. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's good that you guys are looking out. The tricky part about it kind of is, like you're saying, the show swapping. And like it's tough to line up a run of that many cities. And it's like you'll hit a band up and they'll be like, yeah, let's do it. And their date doesn't line up with the other city. And it's like, fuck, it's the next weekend. So it's very tricky. Have you guys thought about like the weekend run kind of thing? Maybe like 2 cities?
Yes,
Friday,
actually,
Saturday?
I've made like a whole thing of like the best runs to do, and like I plan out the time and
Really?
how long it takes to get to each city and time back, because
That's
we have
hype.
to be back to school on Monday. So it's like
yeah.
we leave on a Friday, we get there, we'll play Friday night, and
Mm-hmm.
then we'll drive Saturday morning, get to the show, and then we'll drive back Sunday. So it's kind of like all the southeastern cities,
Yeah.
really. And then if we get like for spring break, that's when we're going up to Chicago. So when we get our break, we'll use it well, and we'll kind of travel.
That's
as far as
smart,
we
man.
can.
I want to see the spreadsheet. That's cool. What are the cities you're thinking for the 2-day runs, though? Like,
I think Savannah, Jacksonville is the one that's the
Oh,
most
that'd be cool,
promising to
man.
me.
That'd be
Savannah,
cool.
Jacksonville, Orlando is a good one, and then you can go Atlanta, Birmingham, and Nashville, because they're kind of like in and out,
Yeah.
and they go on that like same interstate.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's just kind of stuff like that, and then Greenville, all up there, Chapel Hill,
Charlotte,
Yeah.
stuff like
Yeah,
that.
Boone. Boone. We've
Boone is a
I want to
big
do
music
Boone,
city.
bro. Boone's so sick, man. Little ski
Heard.
town.
Yeah.
I've just heard about Boone for like the first time this past week, because Bennett was like,
It's insane, some of the places that you'll just find, and there's so many bands. Like in Boone, I think there are like 15 plus bands that are kind of like us, and I've just kind of put in the spreadsheet, because in the spreadsheet I'll put bands that are like us. I'm not just listing like every single band.
Yeah.
But like in Tampa, Florida too, there's so many bands. Like I think I found like 20 plus that are just sort of bands like us, and I was like, that's kind of crazy.
Interesting, man. Yeah, dude, I want to do Boone bad. You ever heard of home place shows? Do you know what I'm talking about? They have like their scene out there isn't necessarily as like venue based. It's like in people's houses and shit.
Yeah.
They do like
Oh,
house
yeah.
shows with like 200 people. And I'm like, damn, that looks sick.
That
There's,
sounds pretty fun.
there's a place called the Milk Parlor. You ever heard of that one? A bunch of cool places. I want to go to Boone bad. I'm glad you brought that up.
yeah.
Like you're saying about Florida too, though. Florida has a great rock scene that not many people know about.
Yeah.
Orlando's big. And what was the other one you said?
There's Tampa,
Tallahassee even.
Tallahassee, yeah, that's
Yeah.
a big one.
Jacksonville.
Miami,
Yeah.
that's a drive though, but Miami
Yeah,
is
so
a big
we'll,
one.
that'd be
Yeah.
sick though, man. Do a little Florida run, go down, bring it back up. God, that'd be
Florida
sick.
run.
Yeah.
But interesting. You guys
Yeah.
should do that. I think Jacksonville, Savannah would be a very wise.
Yeah,
little
just
run.
super
yeah.
quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 4 hours, 2 hours, and I guess like 5 hours maybe.
Yeah, so
Like the drive times.
yeah, drive.
Oh,
I've
5
like
and a
mapped
half.
this all
He's
out.
got it done.
To Savannah, it's like 3 hours 50 minutes, and then to Jacksonville is like 2 hours, and then Orlando's 2 hours.
How many miles?
I don't know.
How many?
123. If you rack that shit off, I'd be so impressed. But yeah, when you guys are traveling, though, you guys have done a pretty fair amount of traveling, right? What's the farthest you guys have been?
Atlanta.
Atlanta? What are you guys like? You guys getting in a SUV or a van or something? Can you guys do it without a U-Haul?
We just take a truck with a camper top and we just put all our stuff in there. We lock it up for the night if we're staying,
dude.
but just kind of go like that.
At least you don't have to get a U-Haul, man. You know, one other person you might have to.
Yeah.
Pros of the three-piece again.
We do think we're gonna probably have to get a trailer at some point to add to the camper top truck.
We'll fit it in there.
This is Aaron's thing. He is so insistent on trying to fit as many pieces of musical equipment into as small of an area as possible. Like I remember one time we were playing a show in Athens.
Porch Fest.
Yeah, we were playing Porch Fest.
He put every single piece of gear plus PA systems into a truck, and we were like, "How did you
Drum
do that?"
kit, 2 amps, everything. We all drove in that truck.
We were like, "How?"
Toyota
And
Tacoma.
we were like, "How and why?"
Yeah.
Because it wasn't even necessary. We were going to take in another car, but we saved a little bit of the environment by saving gas.
Man. Yes, dude, I love that.
I'm an ecology major.
Yeah.
You guys are all UGA, right? Or
Yes.
somewhere in there?
Yes.
What years are you guys? I guess second years?
We're first years.
Yeah,
First years?
Second year.
Interesting. How are you liking that experience so far?
I like it a lot because living somewhere 30 minutes away, and now I'm just here, I can go to as many shows as I want, opposed to like if, like a band like one of my favorite local bands like Hefner or Wonderwild, if they're playing a Friday night, I'm probably not going to be able to drive up and see them and have to deal with all that.
Absolutely.
So now I can just pretty much walk to the 40 Watt and see a show and then just kind of do whatever after. So it's probably one of my favorite things.
Yeah. Taking any sort of music classes, or is it all major stuff right now?
Right now it's all just kind of getting my core out of the way. And I want to get into MBUS. I applied, but they were like, your resume's awesome, but you don't have enough credit hours. And I was like,
that happens though.
Yeah.
How about you, man? How you liking it?
Well, the first semester of school, I had like a lot of various like illnesses. I got
illnesses.
Yeah, I got COVID at the end of August. Got
the
COVID.
plague.
It wasn't. I had a very minor case, thankfully. But I had COVID and then an upper respiratory infection that was like significantly worse.
Damn, man.
And then I got mono on like November 15th. And then by that point, I had probably missed like maybe like 30-40% of like all the days of school because at least I would have with my mono diagnosis. And then I told my parents and my Franklin College advisor, and they were all like, "You should just drop out this semester."
Word.
Done. So honestly, I was fine with it. It's just I didn't have to take any finals, and it was just like 3 months of time sunk into classes, but I didn't mind because it was like I felt like I was still just getting my feet at the school, and now coming in this. Next week I feel more comfortable with like everywhere on campus and like the whole vibe there. So,
absolutely, man. Yeah, no need to rush it, man. Just soak that shit in. Soak that shit in. I love it. How about you, man? I've seen you around a lot more. Maybe it's just because I knew you a little better.
Right,
but like I've seen you around town a little longer. I guess.
Yeah, that's true. I'm loving it. I mean, it definitely. I was more in their positions closer to that last year, but I'm just really settled in now. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. I'm doing the MBUS program.
You already in?
Yeah.
Sweet. What are you taking?
Well, I just took the intro class last semester and then the second class next semester.
Let's go, man. That's a great one.
But
That'll change the game for you. Change the
Sweet.
game. Love it, man.
Yeah, I've been telling them they're gonna love it. It's
Yeah.
You guys are gonna love it. Don't worry about it. It'll be fucking so sick.
Yeah.
Game changer. There's a tool routing part of it that you'll enjoy.
Yeah,
he'll probably like that. He'll probably like it, man. He'll be eating that shit up. He'll be racking that shit off in class.
I stayed up until like 6 a.m. doing that assignment. If David sees this, I'm just saying that assignment was the bane of my existence, and I got a B.
It wasn't easy, man. It was a little fucking tricky, bro.
It's pretty hard.
And it's funny because people hear you bitching about MBUS classes. They're like, bro, come on. Like, bro, the motherfuckers weren't that easy. You know what I mean?
It's a struggle.
I've taken easier classes. David's coming on the podcast. I'm kind of stoked about this.
Is he really?
Yeah, he was supposed
awesome.
to come in yesterday, but he had something come up. I think he was in the studio as well.
That's funny.
But I'm stoked about that. I got some heaters questions I want to ask him.
It'll be a good episode. I'll have to watch that one.
Yeah, he's a go. He's a go. So I'm curious to see what he has to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, moving along. You want to play more. You guys got runs planned. All students. So you can't tour during the week, kind of. which
Well,
is tough.
We're trying. We have like
Wow.
shows that are like one-offs, and we're
Just
like,
doing it anyway.
it's just
Yeah.
a Wednesday, and we
Yeah.
get to play in Chapel Hill. So
Ooh,
let's not
Chapel
worry about
Hill.
it.
That's
Yeah,
sick.
we're going to the cave up there with Elijah Johnston.
Ah, I love Elijah. He's been on the show
Yeah.
before. Great guy.
Yeah, we're super
The
excited
Cave.
about
I've
that.
never heard of that. I need to look this place up. It's a venue?
Yeah, it's called the Cave, and it's up in Chapel Hill. And then everything that comes along with like you get a show in an off city, you're like, well, let's call the radio stations and get us up there. And
Yeah.
it's so hard. I mean, it's like one of the weirdest things. You'll like call a radio station, and I think we have it really nice here in Athens in terms of like we have a college town that's really big into music. So we have Woo-Wog, and they're like, oh my God, we love local artists and we
Yeah.
love musicians. So they give everybody, huge shots. And I'm like going into where we're like spoiled here, and I'm like talking to radio stations and other places. They're like, yeah, well, we don't really do a lot here. We're just kind of like, we love to play music on air, but we don't have a lot of programs for people to come in and play.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of like navigating different worlds, honestly.
Yeah, dude, that's a good point. I didn't realize it personally until I started going to a lot of these cities. But a lot of these cities just straight up don't have music scenes. Like we have it made
Yeah.
here. You know what I mean? Like you go to Tuscaloosa and Clemson, and they're like, we don't get rock bands through here. You're the first rock band I've seen in 4 years of being in school. Like, really?
That's sad.
I can't even imagine.
Fuck, you know what I mean? And like no sort of centralized radio or anything. But once you start booking at some of there not many of them do it, but like there's this place in Knoxville, Preservation Pub. You ever heard of it? They're one of the nicer places that when you book with them, they send you like a whole press sheet. Like,
Oh, wow.
here's the contact for the student body
Oh, wow.
newspaper. Here's the radio. Here's where you send posters if you want to put them out. It's really pro.
Do you know Indie on the Move? Are you
I
on
do.
that?
I am on
love
Indie on the
that
Move. Yeah,
website.
dude, that's the shit, bro. That's the shit. I'd be like, God, these motherfuckers now found your email. A lot of them are out of date though, but it's a good
Yeah.
it's a good source. You can just go in there. Anybody listening should get on Indie in the Move if
Yeah.
they want to book something.
Definitely recommend it.
Interesting. So yeah, you guys want to play a lot more. Do you guys so you're playing out of town more? Is the plan? I know you guys have done a 40 watt a ton of times. How many times have you done 40 watt?
In the past few months, maybe like 4.
Yeah. Is that you
Yeah.
guys' spot kind of like your favorite?
Oh, I
guess not,
like the
yeah.
4. It's probably my favorite venue.
Yeah?
I think we
Yeah.
played Caledonia was like
Yeah.
it was a legendary space, and I loved it. It's gone now, but I think the 40 watt has always kind of been like that. Like, oh my God, the 40 watt. The theater is like a different kind
Different
of thing
vibe.
because it's like it's a touring band venue more so. So it's
Yeah.
like local bands really don't get that shot to go in there unless you've kind of already made it.
Absolutely.
You need to have like a bigger
Yeah.
following to get into the theater. It's like the next step up.
So you're drawing from like not only Athens but Atlanta too. So you're
Yeah.
getting like a really big draw in just Athens. So the 40 watt I feel like is kind of like our spot where we feel comfortable playing there and we can get a good draw. And it's just really cool. I mean, I love the
So
history of
sick.
the place.
Yeah, me
Sounds
too.
Great too.
Sounds
Yeah.
fantastic. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I've seen you guys play there a lot, or like just seen the posters and everything. And I think that seems to be like a good spot, And you're
Yeah.
saying the Caledonia. I kind of miss the Caledonia. Like, there's not really that spot anymore. Flicker's kind of stepped up a little bit, but like, in my opinion, it's not the same kind of. But
Not quite.
Nowhere we played Nowhere Bar the other.
how'd you like that?
It was
Nowhere Bar's
really
fun.
awesome.
Nowhere
I
Bar's
mean,
fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was surprised.
We
I didn't know they were
played
doing
there.
shows.
It was. I mean, I think that's probably one of the best shows we've ever played. Honestly, it was.
Yeah.
It was really great, and the audience was super into it, and we could pack it
Sound.
out.
Really?
It's in
Sound
a-
was awesome too.
Yeah, it's just in a unique location because you can get like your typical fans, but then you can also get like passerbys because it's
Yeah.
downtown, and if you're playing on like a Friday night, you're just drawing people in. So it's
Absolutely.
a really cool place.
Yeah. We're tentatively trying to book more shows there this year. Like we're trying to get 5/8 on a bill with us. That'll be super fun.
That'd be
yeah.
sick, bro.
I know. I know a lot of the guys in that band, so I'm really excited for that. We're trying to get. It's not confirmed yet, but we're trying to get a date worked out. What's funny is that they're actually the first band that I ever saw at Nowhere Bar, and their set just like blew me away. They're so
Really?
good. Yeah, they're
Interesting.
really really good. They had a killer set at September Days too.
They're heavy, man, aren't they?
Yeah.
Dude, that would be fucking sick. You guys with 5'8" would be wicked. I wish I'd have thought of that, bro. That's a genius.
Yeah.
Actually, in one of my MBUS classes, it was live concert recording. Did you take that one yet? No.
Oh no, not yet.
It's a David Barbie class. He was like, here's your stems for the song, for the show you're going to mix. It was a fucking 5'8" show at 40 watt. I was like,
Oh wow.
yes, thank you. So, dude, that'd be sick. And when you guys are you guys spacing your Athens shows out, or is it like,
Yeah, it's kind of come to the point where we're like, we can't keep doing this. And if it just so happens we're getting like really good opportunities in the same month, we're kind of like, well, we can make an exception if we can get the exposure, because I think exposure kind of outweighs like money in a lot of situations. I mean, because we had an Athens show lined up, I think And then Aaron was like, we have this really cool opportunity where we can play in front of a lot of people at a UGA event. We are like, well, let's take that.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, he's talking about Miracle Dance Marathon.
Yeah.
Oh,
word.
yeah.
So,
Yeah. We're excited for that.
That's gonna be cool. Yeah, anything like that's really good exposure, like
Yeah,
you
it
said.
is.
Yeah.
Interesting. And I know you guys have done Southern Brewing Company, right? How'd you like it out there?
We love it there.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
great.
When you can pack it out, I mean, there's nothing cooler than playing an outside amphitheater.
For
Yeah.
real.
Yeah,
Our
I-
album release was like still probably my favorite show we've played.
I think so too.
Where was that at?
That
was
that
there.
was a Southern
Oh,
Brewing.
okay, cool.
Yeah, I think that was probably so far. That's probably been the highlight of, or like definitely one of the highlights of being in the band because we got to play with Drew Beskin and Hefner.
Love Drew Baskin.
Yeah, and
Great guy.
yeah,
He's a
he's
great guy.
awesome.
So funny.
And then because we hadn't played in the show in so long, and there was some hype generating around the album, we got like a lot of people out there, way more than we expected. Like just like on a personal note, like I just saw a lot of people who I hadn't seen in a long time, people who I wasn't like expecting to come out to the show as like a really nice surprise. So
That's awesome, man.
yeah, that was a great night. It was super fun.
That kind of leads me into the next question, which I always kind of like to ask is like, what are some favorite moments you guys have had on stage? I know it's like tough to pinpoint, but like any particular like funny moment or moment that was like, oh, we fucking did it. This is our song. People are singing it, or like anything like that in particular.
There's been weird
I could-
things. We played a Halloween show and
Yeah, I was
people were
gonna talk
singing the
about that.
songs, and I never had that happen before where it's like I'm hearing myself singing the monitors and then I'm like, I can hear that. That's really weird
Yeah.
because we're just kind of a couple guys from Athens and people are singing our music back to us. That's kind of, we've never had that before. And
Yeah.
I think one moment they like is like every show I'll break a string. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter where we're playing or when it is, but it happens.
Every time.
Yeah, it's just this one
Like
guitar.
literally.
Always at the start of the song too, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
The best part of one of our favorite songs to play live, 10,000, like that's a live song
Yeah.
for sure. And it's like you get into that heavy part at the end. My string breaks at our album release, and I was so mad. And then Owen was like, "That part sounds really cool, guys. You just have to trust us."
Take our word for it.
Yeah.
That's
Wait,
hilarious.
did I say that during the song or afterwards?
Right after we finished.
Okay.
Just trust us, man.
Oh yeah, I was like Bennett's guitar part. Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah,
That happens though, man. There's no better feeling than people singing them back, man. It's
Yeah.
crazy, isn't it?
It's really
Yeah.
weird.
Interesting.
That Halloween party was definitely a highlight for me. I mean, it was just like we were feeling it. Like I'd never really gone to a party and then also been playing. Like
Yeah, that's the
the
best.
atmosphere was great. Like and then the cops came and shut it down.
Yes.
Which was just
At like 9:45 p.m.
yeah.
We
It
were
was really
dressed,
weird.
We were dressed up though for that show.
Oh yeah.
Who are you guys dressed as?
The Blue Man Group.
Huh.
Yeah.
I like it, man.
I think when we came to the party, no one was expecting us to like be a band.
Yeah.
They were just like, "Oh, it's Blue Man Group."
Yeah, there they are.
These guys dressed up for the party, and then we get up there, and it was really fun.
What
Yeah.
about you, Ellen? What was your favorite?
Oh, I think that would have been our homecoming show.
Homecoming.
I guess a year ago, a
Oh.
little over a year ago, like October 2020. I was still a senior in high school. I went to Athens Academy, and a lot of people at school knew about A.D Blanco, and one of the deans of students approached me one day at school, and he was like, "Hey, would you guys?" He was like, "We're not going to do a homecoming dance this year because of COVID safety, but would you guys be willing to like play an outdoor concert instead on like the same Friday night?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, of course."
Yeah.
And then it was like this huge. It turned into like this huge thing. We were initially going to do it on the football fields, but there was a scheduling issue with like a JV football game. And so we ended up moving to like this field out on the track. And we outsourced to like a really, really good professional sound company
Word.
with like lights and everything. And it just ended up being like this crazy show in front of basically the entire junior and senior class of my high school.
That's
which was super special for me. And it was just kind of like, it expanded our audience a lot because people who didn't know about us at my school did after that show. And it was just great because, I was sharing something I was so proud of with a lot of my classmates who I've known since I was like 3 or something like that.
Man,
So
that sounds like some shit out of a movie, bro.
yeah,
Fuck, dude.
it kind of was. I think
The ending of a 2000s coming of age movie.
basically,
That's sick,
basically,
bro.
yeah. I think a couple of people made comments about that. It was like that would have been like their high school dream or whatever to
Yeah?
do that. Yeah.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, it
That
was
a
fun.
show. We played the immigrant song that night.
Yeah, that remains the only song on bass that I've just like completely failed to do live.
Really?
It's not
so hard.
It's not that hard except for this one ascending thing in the chorus that just goes like A B C, and at first I thought it was root notes. It's like, okay, cool, no big deal. Except he plays like this crazy Mixolydian scale, like super duper fast.
JPJ is a little tricky, isn't he?
And I just I couldn't do it.
Oh man, I'm sure it sounded fine.
Yeah, I don't think people notice, but I mean, that's the perk of being a bass player. But
Come on now.
yeah, I don't know.
You guys don't get enough credit, man. You're holding it all together.
No, yeah, I know. I just like to joke about that.
Yeah.
I also said that last night at practice, I was like, "What is bass if not a toddler's guitar?"
Yeah, we switched instruments for a song we're writing now, and
That's always fun.
I have like this high strung, really nice guitar I got from I think Baxendale, and it was like a '60s K acoustic guitar, and I was like, it sounds so awesome, but I'm gonna make it high strung just so we can mess with it. And Owen was picking it up and playing on it, and he came up with this really cool riff, and we just kind of ran with it, and we made a new song last night, or at least started to make one. But
that was our
really
first
cool.
time writing with you all switched instruments, and then you like switched back, and it sounded even better. It was cool. It was fun
Really?
for me to watch.
Yeah. At one point, we got kind of stumped on a part, and then I think Aaron suggested that we switch instruments back to like our preference. So I would be on bass, and Bennett would be on guitar, and then we were able to come up with the part like pretty quickly, and then we just switched back. So.
Interesting. Do you guys have a lot of like, or when you guys, your live show, let's talk about your live show for a minute. That kind of leads me into that. Is like, do you guys have moments like that in the set where you switch instruments or like anything different or like,
A little bit.
how do you guys arrange it?
Oh yeah, we'll play like Clay's Pond, and Owen will hop on a piano, and Aaron will drum and play bass at the same time.
Really?
That's just like kick, hi-hat, but while I play bass.
Still impressive.
Yeah.
He's also done things live where it's like, since we became a three-piece, he's playing drums and keyboard at the same time.
Yeah.
And it's something to watch. I mean, it's really
That's
crazy.
crazy,
cool.
bro.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think-
still trying to get used to that because I think it would add a lot if I could get really good at it. But I mean, it's not easy.
Yeah. Well, one thing the one that's really stood out to me, I think, is what's the song by the Cars? That
Just
we covered.
what I needed.
We
just what I
we did a
needed.
cover of we did a cover of that song at the
That's hype, bro.
sorority gig in Milledgeville.
Yeah.
And Aaron, handled the keyboard part as well as the drums,
Yeah.
and it was really cool.
It's like
So-
doo 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 doo, and I was like, "What the hell are you doing?" I wrote the song down.
I
Yeah.
really, really screwed up one of the songs though. I remember that it was a Billy Idol song.
Oh, Rebel Yell.
Yeah, that one I did not quite pull off as well.
I mean, it's a lot to do back there, man.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
No, the car song went really well. And I think in the future I'll keep messing with that.
Yeah,
But,
so there's no interest in bringing in like keyboard player? Not really.
It's just kind of like bringing in another head to like a band, because it's like, the way I think about it is like, you'll have like live players, and they're people that you're going to play with live, but you're practicing for shows all the time, so it's just like they join your band pretty much. So
Yeah,
it's like,
they
if we
kinda
didn't
have
have
to.
a live member, it's kind of like they would just be in the band now.
Gotcha.
So I like kind of how we dynamically write with the three of us, so it's kind of like I don't think we need like a fourth person in
Gotcha.
the room all the time now, at least.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, we've had other people play parts on songs like we were talking about earlier, that song that we did with Rowan at Gift Horse like back in August, the one where we came in like an impromptu jam session, like a whole song came out of it. He had like a really cool part on keyboard that we thought was so important that we invited him to just like play that one thing with us on stage the next time he played that song live, and it worked out pretty well.
That's sick, dude.
So yeah.
And when you guys are structuring your set list, is there any kind of thought going into it? Like, do you guys have like moments, or is it like, here's 10 songs? You know what I mean? Like, do you guys have like a specific set that you've honed down?
I don't think we ever really play the same set.
Yeah.
We'll play the same songs sometimes, but like, that's one thing I will say Aaron's really like stresses a lot. He's like, well, we can't play this whole thing, because I'm like, well, let's play this song at the end, because it always goes well. And he's like, well, we always do that, so let's put it at the beginning. And we're like, okay, well,
Yeah.
so it's kind of, we'll give like a little break. We'll play like a softer song sometimes, or depending on the show. You know,
What's your reasoning on that, Aaron? Do you have any, or is it just like?
Just always trying to think ahead, I mean, if a person comes and sees a band that they saw a month ago, and then they see the same beginning and the same ending to the show, like it might not matter to them, but it might, and we're just gonna do our best to to try and give them a new experience. You know, I mean, especially if they're paying to come see us, we want them to like really walk away like that was something new. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
it's
and
very smart.
And I think also something we think about a lot when writing set lists is we kind of think about how the songs fit together like dynamically and stylistically.
Mm-hmm.
So we think like if we had like all of our like kind of more dark heavy songs all at the beginning and then like our brighter, more lighthearted ones at the end, it doesn't like, I don't know. It just
flow?
it doesn't flow as well. And I think it also better indicates the variety in our music when we have big shifts from one song to another and just kind of like keeping like a wave going, I guess. So
Totally.
Yeah.
Interesting. So yeah, that's smart. Like, hey, here's a little bit of something for you guys to hang around for. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
maybe if you didn't dig the darker one, here's a brighter one.
Yeah,
and vice versa.
That's kind of why we always try to write more, because it's like that same thing as when somebody's like, you know, I've already seen you guys, and you know, Gregory from Athens, Georgia Live Music. Every time he comes, we kind of want to get him something else new to put on the
Yeah.
website, because
Yeah.
he's pretty much been to most of our shows, and it's like we want to give him something new because he is gracious enough to kind of come out every time. And it's
Legend,
like,
bro.
Mhm.
Love
yeah,
that.
for
Love
real.
that.
Yeah,
He's
he's
one of
awesome.
our favorite members of the Athens community.
I've
I
never
mean,
personally met him, but I've seen his work. A lot of it.
yeah, he's great. He's great.
super awesome.
Yeah, man. Crazy work ethic too. Like just staying with it, like as many as he
Absolutely.
can, right? It's
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
impressive.
Because I was texting him one night about like coming to a show the next day, because we always will put him on our guest list. Like we think
what I
that's
was
just
gonna
very
say.
important, because it's like he shouldn't have to pay to
Yeah.
come to every show,
Yeah,
because that's so much money. And
He's
it's
doing
like,
he's doing us a service.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
totally.
Yeah.
and it's just kind of like I was emailing him or texting him or whatever, and I was like, yeah, well, if you come out tomorrow night, and he's like, well, I have to catch these bands because they're new to town and I've never seen them before. So he's consistently trying to add new stuff and,
Good for him,
kind of
man.
enrich the scene. And I really appreciate, you know, him coming out and doing that, because we use the stuff he shoots like to send to venues and stuff. I mean, it's
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
most perfect service for an artist that, you know.
I love that. Yeah, I love that.
It's
He's really
awesome.
doing. Nobody else is doing that either. You know what I mean? Like who's filming every show? That's crazy. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People like that really facilitate the scene, in my opinion. Speaking of the scene, do you guys have any favorite bands in town? I know we've mentioned a bunch. Like any favorite you guys like to go see or would like to play with or something?
We're all gonna say like Hefner.
Hefner, yeah, I
They're
love
sick.
Hefner and Wonderwild. Obviously, whole hometown classic. One of my favorites is REM, but they're
Of course.
they've been gone for a couple
years,
now.
yeah.
But recently, Hefner is like for sure like my number one band that I love to listen to.
Yeah, I have like a trio of Athens bands,
Hit it.
all with a common member, McKendrick Bearden. He's in New Madrid, Hefner, and Grand Rapids.
Really?
And those are probably my three favorite bands in Athens.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I really love New Madrid. Hefner.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. I mean, everybody I've seen in Athens, I'm impressed by in some way. But
Good.
I'd say those are my big two.
Good host Cannon and Drew, I really like
Oh,
too.
yeah.
they're
Yeah.
super tight.
yeah.
So sick.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
definitely
Interesting.
can't leave out Cannon. He's everywhere.
Cannon is such a hard worker. Like
Yeah,
I'll say,
he's
like,
awesome.
And the boxes?
yeah.
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 Played my first show in Athens with Cannon. Like that guy. He posts
he's
he
awesome.
posts some interesting takes on Instagram. I like his. I don't know if you guys follow him on Instagram, but it's funny stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
Who else was I gonna say? I was gonna say I heard that it was either Wonderwild or Hefner was they were covering "Your Love" by the Outfield. Do you know that song?
Yeah, I know that song.
You know,
didn't know
I
they were
think it was
doing
Hefner.
that.
I think it was probably Hefner.
Was it Hefner?
I think it was
Yeah.
Hefner at the release show.
I heard they were covering, it and I was like, "Fuck, I want to see that" because I love
Yeah,
that song.
That was Devo night. They all
Yeah.
dressed up as Devo and did a
They
Devo
did
cover
that.
as
I
well.
That's
love
sick,
that night.
man.
I
Not
would've
that
remembered
night,
that.
but they've done it before, I think.
Damn,
I thought
wanna hear
they
that.
might have. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Man.
but I did hear that, so sounds right.
Yeah.
I want to go see. You guys ever heard of Nordista Freeze? I want to go see
Yes,
this guy.
they're playing with
Yeah.
Monsoon.
Are they? Where
Yeah.
at?
And Hotel Fiction.
They just
too.
played at the Poorhouse last night.
Really?
Rowan is in that band with Sienna and Joey. So
yeah.
they're playing up there with Nordista Freeze last night.
Am I remembering correctly that Sienna used to book the Foundry? Was that her?
Yeah, that was
I think
her,
so,
yeah.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
she's so nice.
I never knew that.
I want to get Monsoon on here. Yeah, she
interesting.
booked us there at the Foundry. I was like, yeah, she was so nice. And they're killing it, dude. Monsoon's murdering it out there,
Yeah.
bro. Good
Yeah.
for them.
They just
Yeah.
got the blue check.
Yeah, did they?
Yeah.
Damn, look
What-
at you go,
What's
man.
even more important is that they got their own Jittery Joe's blend.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
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 Fuck, man.
So they
I
can
gotta
basically
step it
retire
up.
happy now.
Yeah, that's all you need. All you can ask for in life, man.
Yeah,
exactly.
Fuck, I want to get a who was it? I think it was either AFTM or Underground Springhouse got their own margarita at Fuzzy's. I was
Oh my
like,
God.
"Dog," I was like, that's sick, bro. It was named
That's
after one
awesome.
of their songs. I was like, damn, bro, I want one. You know
That's
what I mean?
really cool.
Not that I ever go to Fuzzies, but just having a drink would be cool.
Yeah.
But interesting. What do you guys have a bunch of merch for sale right now or no?
We're
working on it.
Working on it?
Yeah. Well, we've had merch in the past, and we're pretty much sold out now. And people
That's
are like,
good.
"When are you gonna make some new stuff?" But we're working on it. I'm like communicating with an artist right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where do you guys get them printed through? Do you know?
Ruby Sue Graphics is probably who we're
I've
gonna
heard of
use.
that.
Yeah,
It's
I
right here in
actually
Athens?
interned there.
Really? How'd you
Yeah.
like it?
I liked it. I mean,
Yeah.
it was a lot of like picking stuff up and putting it here and then over and over
Yeah.
again. It's kind of like a factory job. But I was working with two of the guys in Coma Therapy. Actually, I don't know if
Yeah.
you've heard of them.
I have not.
They're really cool.
Are they?
Yeah, they're
Coma
super
Therapy?
tight.
Cool
Yeah,
band.
Coma Therapy.
I'm about to write this down. Look them up.
So these were like my coworkers for a while, and they were just such cool guys. So that made it really enjoyable.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Love to hear it. I'm ready to get a T-shirt when you guys start playing again. What is you guys seem to be pretty good on top of the content and stuff, like a lot of posts, a lot of photo shoots and stuff. It looks like. Do you guys have a content plan? I know we're getting a little specific right now, but I'm just curious.
I think one thing that we've kind of wanted to do like is just really get like a good content schedule kind of. I mean, we can't like do like posts every day at this certain time, but like we definitely have like an idea of when we want to post and what we want to post.
Yeah.
That's been my thing lately. I'm
Yeah.
really thinking about content because it's such a huge part like of music nowadays. Like
Yeah, it's huge.
the visual aspect, it's really necessary whether you like it or not. Like it is.
You better start liking it, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And I do like it. I
Yeah.
mean, it's been really fun to communicate with artists and like trying to think about like, all right, what do people want to see? What keeps them interested? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
I've
it or
been
not,
working
you
on
kind of
that.
play like two shows, like the actual show and then the show on Instagram. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Yes.
So
yeah.
and
The marketing show.
a lot of the fucking Instagram videos will get a lot more views than the damn in-person show. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah.
an interesting
Right.
web you have to weave to keep people coming to what matters, which is the real shows. So,
Yeah, like our last post on Instagram was a video that Aaron made. He compiled it from footage we took in our session at Gift Horse, and he spliced like a video of a live drum take with the actual like rough mix of the song that it corresponds to, and it was just this awesome video, and
That's
it was like
sick.
sort of like a brief compilation of us. And yeah, that video was really good, and we're also the kind of band who's willing to pay for a promotion on Instagram.
yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
And we think that we thought that video was a high enough quality to warrant that, and so a bunch of people have seen it. We got like a decent amount of interaction with it, so
That's awesome, man.
yeah, stuff like that's always good.
It's very good to hear that you have your kind of your head on top of that and stuff like that, like the in-studio videos, like shit like
Yeah.
that's so cool. Think
Yeah.
about
Exactly.
like
I love to see that from
Yeah.
bands. So I know that people would like to see that from us too. if
imagine
they
being
like
able to
us.
see that from like insert your favorite band name, like the Police in
Exactly.
'76 on their
Yeah.
first album. There's no footage, you know what I mean? Could you imagine just like a 30-second clip of them in the studio? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
What really like motivated me to do that, I guess, like I didn't even realize this, but I was watching Get Back,
Yeah,
and
of
I
course.
was like, well, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
people probably would like to see what we're doing in the studio.
That's
you
crazy,
know,
dude. That's
so,
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Think
and
about how much.
I'm talking to someone about making a music video and
Ooh.
yeah, stuff like
Who,
that.
who are you
so.
talking to? Just curious, if you don't mind me asking.
He's like a buddy from a long time. His name's Yona Winges, but
Okay.
he lived in Maine for a long time and worked with some like hip hop artists,
Uh-huh.
some pretty high profile people. But
Yeah.
like he hasn't really done a lot of rock stuff yet. But
Yeah.
I just see like a huge potential in his work.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, the music video thing is tough for me. I haven't done any personally, really, just because like I hate to say they're so expensive, but like to like actually hire somebody, like do like a real video
Yeah.
shoot. You're looking at least $500 or whatever. And it's
Exactly.
like, man, if I post this, it only gets a few like
Yeah.
1,000 views on YouTube tops.
Yeah.
It's like, was it worth the 500 that we could have utilized elsewhere?
Yeah.
Right.
So maybe that's my thinking on it. And I see a lot of big bands like killing it without videos, but I don't think they'd hurt one bit. You know what I mean? Like I
No.
think it'd probably be pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a trial and error thing,
Yeah.
We have to see how it goes over.
Yeah, the one video we've actually shot is just the one at Jeffrey's place. 'Cause,
Oh, that's awesome, though.
It was just a live video, but I think it was kind of cool to have that as just some interactable content for the album.
I think so too, man. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I watched it when it came out because anything Jeff does, I'm a fan of.
Yeah.
That's awesome, you guys. Well, let's kind of start wrapping this up. We're at 79 minutes. We've been grinding, baby.
Yeah.
Time's flying.
Time's
Yeah.
really
Let's
flying.
kind of put the closing notes on it. What are you guys trying to do this year as a whole? Like, what do you want the people to know about this year? Like, what are you guys doing? Like, what is the end game here? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think by the end of this year, we want to have played all throughout the country as much as we can. Like maybe not all the way out west yet, but even just this spring we're trying to get up north. Hopefully hit New England maybe at some point this year.
Sick.
Really get around the southeast as much as we can, as well as releasing this new EP, trying to get started on the second album. We're doing a lot of work with merch. We're doing a lot of work with social media and online promotion that way. So hopefully a year from now, we'll just be much more, versed in the ways of the music industry, as well as hopefully having a larger following with like a wider influence with more music out. And I guess that's
a ton, man. You covered it right there. That's sick.
We're just trying to expand in every avenue that we can. So
plant more roots.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that, man. I think that's the best thing you guys could be doing. Anybody else have anything to say on that? Look like you might want to.
I mean, just new music, new merch, a lot more shows, and we're just trying to get as far as we can.
Yep.
Love to hear that, dude. You guys are hustling. I appreciate it. You guys seem to have the whole mindset right. You guys are extremely intelligent for your age. Like,
thank you.
On top of all this kind of stuff. I wasn't into this stuff till I was like 20, so you guys are killing it. And like, you guys are it seems like there's no alpha, which is pretty healthy, like democracy kind of thing. You're riding together. Like, I can't see any reason why you guys couldn't just keep doing this forever. You know what I mean? So, congratulations, man. I'm stoked. People talk about you guys now. I'm for real. I hear people whispering. I got my ear to the ground. I hear a little bit of this about you guys every now and again. I see the shirts at the gym and the shit. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So, good for you guys, man. Well, what do you say we wrap this thing up?
Yeah.
Sound good? Tell the people where you guys' Instagram is. Tell them your name on Instagram. Any other socials you'd like them to follow. Check it out.
A.D Blanco bands.
At A.D Blanco band. Can't forget the at. It's the tag.
Just, A.D Blanco band Instagram, A.D Blanco, A.D Blanco on Spotify and Apple Music. But
definitely give them a follow.
A.D Blanco
Gotta have the
band.
periods in there.
Yeah.
That actually became a problem for us for a while. When people would type in A.D Blanco with other periods, we wouldn't come up. I think it might. It might. I don't know if it's still an issue, but just be sure to type the periods. I guess.
That's tough, man. I love it though. At least everybody knows now. At least,
hopefully.
But yeah, thank you guys for coming in, man. I had a blast. You guys
Thanks
are smart kids. I'm excited to see what you guys do. I got to come see the first show in February, and thank you guys for coming on. Thank you to everybody for listening. If you're listening in at 82 minutes, I'm pretty proud of that. Thank you guys for hanging in there. That's crazy. I'd like to thank today's show sponsor, which was Matchless Advertising. They make like EPKs in town, like for bands and stuff. Really cool flip book, like 20-page EPKs with your links, your show history. Very affordable, and I really didn't even start getting gigs until I got them to make me one, man. Kind of changed the game for me.
Interesting.
So everybody check out Matchless Advertising. I'll tag a link in the bio, all that good stuff. The podcast is Jameson_OTR on Instagram, all that good stuff. Follow along, leave us a review, all that stuff. Subscribe. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for watching. Give them a wave for the thumbnail.
Thank you all.
Yes. See you later.
Feel your